Hello, my friends. Welcome to part 2 of our video for the classes on August 28th and 29th about the nervous system and the brain and the neurons. So I had just finished talking about these lovely parts of the brain. And if you didn't get to see the other video, I encourage you to do so. But we talked about the corpus callosum and the cerebellum. And now I'm going to tell you how you're going to learn about the other parts of the brain. Maybe. There we go. So you have an assignment on Canvas called the Children's Book of the Brain or Learning About the Brain. It has one of two names. Whichever one you see, that's the one that you need to look for. And what you're going to do in this assignment, no matter which one you have, is to imagine that Herbie, our fictional psychological friend, who can be any age or any size that I need, we're going to imagine that he's 5 years old. So he's gone back in time. And he has come to you and wants to learn about the brain. He wants to learn about the forebrain, the midbrain, the hindbrain, and the parts of the neuron. So your job is to teach him about this. Now think about a book for children. It's going to have simpler language. It's going to have more visuals. So that's really important to keep in mind. Now, what format can you use to teach this? Well, that is totally up to you. Whether it's a book, like if you write a story in Word, if you make a story in PowerPoint, like a slideshow. Some of my friends like to do comic books, either hand-drawn or using different programs that allow you to make comic books. And if you do the hand-drawn ones, what my friends will do is they'll take pictures and upload the pictures, or they scan it in to me, depending on what software they have. Maybe you want to make a movie or a YouTube video. One of my students last year made Herbie's TED Talks, and this is where he talked about all the different things that he was teaching Herbie. You made some pictures and stuff to show him. You could write a poem. You could write a song. If you like to perform and want to perform your song, I would give you extra points. If you don't like to perform and you don't want to perform your song, that's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. And when I say perform, I don't mean you have to do it like in person. You can do it as a recording. So what are the things that you need to include in this? Well, remember your assignment document is on Canvas, module 3.1. I can't remember if it's under A or B. But here are some of the parts that here are the parts you need to include. The two hemispheres of the brain, left and right. The four lobes of the brain, occipital, temporal, frontal, and parietal. The thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the hippocampus. Not a school for hippos, despite what you might think. And then the brainstem, which is part of the hindbrain. And then you also need to include the parts of the neuron, the dendrite, the cell body, also called the soma, the axon, the myelin sheath, and the synapse. All right, so what I did at this point was I gave my students a chance to go get their assignment document on module 3.1 under either A or B, I can't remember. And then I gave them some resources that they could use. The lobatorium is really cool because it allows you to learn about the four lobes of the brain. The McGill Brain website is awesome because it actually lets you choose the level of explanation that it gives to you. So if you're a beginner, you might choose there, but if you want to get more advanced knowledge, you can move up to intermediate or advanced. There's also a video on neurons if you're interested, or a Quizlet. You can use either or both. But I do want to point out that the first two options I gave you here, they both require Flash. So you may have to enable Flash to be able to see them. And remember that all of these resources are also in the PDF that I will have here too. So hopefully you enjoyed the tour. You enjoyed the tour of both your brain and all the different cool places I had in here. And I reminded my students, if you're in class and you look where it says whiteboard and down at the bottom there's those three lines, the hamburger, it's right, it's like it says whiteboard and then you just look over to the left. You click on that, choose my attachments. That's how you would get a copy of any documents that I have in there. And I thank you guys for coming. Bye-bye now.